Hey everyone, I'm Almar of almarsguides.com, and in this video here I'm going to be showing you one of the two best leveling locations in Dark Cloud. So in this game you don't actually level up your characters, instead you level up your weapons. And in order to level up your weapons you need to defeat monsters. Some monsters give more abs than other monsters, and the area I am right now is going to be one of the best place to grind abs in the entire game. So on the floor 10, the back floor of floor 10, in the Wiseout Forest is where I am right now. And these werewolf enemies give you 24 abs per werewolf enemy that you kill. And that's what makes these so worthwhile to grind. So let's see. I will do my best to not spend a lot of time in the menus throughout the course of this video because I know that's the boring part. I want to show you the actual, grinding part. But we do have to plan out our weapons a little bit. Customize, do we have any beast? No, we do not. I don't think any of these gives me points into beast. Maybe I'll find an attachment in here. One thing that's worth noting is you can run the same back floor multiple times. This is something I didn't take into consideration when I first played Dark Cloud. You can essentially just zone in and out of the back floor and reset it and then keep grinding it over and over and over. And that's what I'm going to show you during this video. And I'm also going to give you a bunch of other tips and strategies and shit. There's another dungeon, well, rather, in Shipwreck, floor 14, you can do the same sort of grinding. You also get 24 abs per enemy. So it's essentially the same abs. The only downside difference, if you want to consider it that, could be a downside too, is the enemies you're going to be killing, they're a little bit more annoying to fight. They're the masks that will block pretty much every ranged attack that you throw at them, which is a bit of an inconvenience if you're using a ranged user. And of course they're going to be higher level too. So that's another downside. Like when you are leveling up here, if you are a high level character, or if you if you're a high level character, you won't have to worry too much because you will have high enough defense to where the enemies don't hit you very hard. However, if you are a lower level character, the werewolves can one-shot you, and it's the same way when you're fighting the masks in Shipwreck. You're probably going to have to, like, until you get to complete Muskalaka and maybe even complete Moonsea, or Yellow Drops in Moonsea, you might want to avoid that dungeon. Just like if you fight in here while you're still on the Wiseout Forest, the werewolves will probably mess you up. I think before I moved on to Queens when I farmed this zone, the werewolves basically one-shot me, which is obviously not good. One of my other tips that I can give you is use Dran's Feather. They're the item that you see me using right now. They will double your movement speed, and it's a very, very, very useful and important item for you to use. I strongly recommend it when doing any dungeon crawling whatsoever in this game, but specifically when also farming, a location such as this. You can see we get a little bit unlucky. I don't have any water patches on this back floor, which means I'm not going to be able to refill my water and health while I'm on this back floor. However, I think there is one on this floor. There is, but it's not very close to me, which is a bit of an inconvenience. We kind of got boned as far as this floor goes. So that's okay. So, before coming into here, I strongly recommend you collect the magic crystal. You don't need the map so much, but the magic crystal is very important because each time you come here, you need to figure out where your werewolves are, so you know where you're going. If you don't have the magic crystal, then you're going to be running around blind, and you're going to spend more time visiting locations you don't have to necessarily visit. Like you'll notice on my map, the top left room is completely empty. No werewolves spawn in there this time. However, the bottom left room has a single werewolf in it, which is different than the last time we were here. Also, despite the fact that the enemies respawn, do remember that the chests do not. And there's something nifty that I can show you too. So, if you want to level a weaker weapon on your character, you can do this. We killed the enemy like this, and we're going to switch to a different weapon. We're going to equip this weapon, and this weapon is going to get the abs. See? You can't do this by switching characters. If you switch characters, it'll just delete the abs and it won't give it to anybody. So keep that in mind, but you can switch weapons on the same character. And this is very, very useful if you find a weapon that you want to steal the skill that it comes with. Like this trial hammer has abs up on it, which I want. I want to get this to +5, and then I want to synth sphere it and put the abs plus onto another weapon. Most likely Ruby's weapon, because I still need to level her weapon up to max. Or I might save the synth sphere and do the same thing on Ungaga's weapon or Osmond's weapon, either or. Always downside when I only have like 5 abs to go, but I still need to still needed to switch to it and take one of the werewolves. Okay, let's see. Actually, let's do that actually. This location, in my opinion, is the best for leveling up Goro as well, because the enemies here are very, very easy. And they're effective. It's easy to take them out with Goro. Goro is kind of a crappy character to level up, due to the fact that he only has a single attack and it's somewhat slow. Usually, though, in this game, I focus on leveling up Tone and also Xiao, the cat lady. One thing I guess I can bring up, too, during this video is each character in this game has an ultimate weapon. And what I'd recommend you look up Dark Cloud Ultimate Weapons, or just go to my website and look up the Dark Cloud Ultimate Weapons guide that I have on my website, because that will give you details about the best weapons for each character in the game, so you know what you're leveling your weapons up into. It's very, very important that you know what you're leveling your weapons into, because you could go down the wrong path and then you could make a weapon that isn't your best weapon, and then you've effectively wasted your time, I guess, in a manner of speaking, leveling up that weapon. Because you have to go back and you have to change it to, you know, what the best weapon is. Like, Tone has multiple weapons you can level up into. Chronicle Sword being one of the better ones, or the best one that you can evolve it into. Technically, his ultimate weapon, though, is Chronicle Sword 2, which you get from the Demon Shaft dungeon, the final dungeon after the end boss. It's the optional dungeon of the game. Actually, what did... Huh. This hammer has abs up, but I only got 24. Which is the normal amount of abs. Strange. I wonder if it's because I didn't use the weapon to kill the enemy. I kind of doubt that, though. That doesn't really make sense. Yeah, actually it does, because I didn't score the killing blow with that weapon, so that's probably why. Weird. So as you can see, we are leveling up our weapons quite quickly. And like I said before, this area will work just fine too even if you're using a ranged character. Like the Shipwreck Dungeon, the Masks of Paraja, which you fight on floor 14. Yeah, 14, the back floor. Technically they spawn on a few back floors, but that's the main back floor that you'll be farming for leveling up. Those guys are very annoying enemies to fight on a ranged character, because if you are not standing in their face, they will keep spinning their fan and basically block every single one of your attacks. So you won't be able to deal any damage to them unless you're standing in their face, which essentially makes you not a ranged character anymore. Oh wow. Mr. Werewolf did, as you can see, he took Goro's health down to 1 from 100. And Goro has halfway decent defense, I think. I think I've put a few grass cakes on him from, I got every grass cake in the Matataki village, and I'm pretty sure I have most grass cakes, if not all. I should have all from Queens. And he still took a crap ton of damage from these werewolves. But this is the rotation, essentially. Like I said, 24 abs per werewolf. So it's a pretty standard amount of, or a pretty above average amount of abs. I think it's the most you can get from an enemy in the game, although I could be mistaken. There's a few back floors in the Moon Sea that give more abs per back floor clear, but this back floor and the one in Shipwreck are tied for the 2 best back floors to farm for leveling up in the early portion of the game. One thing that's worth mentioning, though, is this back floor, like I said before, kind of takes the cake because the enemies are easier to defeat. They're also effectively the only enemies you can defeat with a ranged character, as I said before as well. Now where the werewolves are is kind of piled up. Let's repair this. Big Buck's Hammer is another one that I'm going to level up on Goro. And then Synth Sphere, because you can transfer the skills on a weapon through Synth Sphere. There we go, back down to 1 health. Oh my. That's one of the downsides too of being of using a character like this. I'm not very good with Goro. I don't think anybody is. He's not the best character. But you have to pay attention to your health a bit when coming here, especially when you're lower level, because you don't want to, you know, you want to stay here for as long as humanly possible without having to leave. Because if you leave, then you have to use another, you know, Sundew in order to get into the back floor, which is not good. So make sure you bring enough food. I'd recommend not bringing much water. You can kind of get away with it, but without using much water, in my honest opinion. Usually, you can find water in the area. And if you get a good back floor where there is water in the area, that's even better. Because then you can just go there to heal instead of, you know, using a bunch of food. But anyway, I'll probably end the video after this clear. I've showed you essentially all I can with this area. Don't forget the Dran's Feather. It'll make the farming experience a lot easier, as you can see. Gonna do the same thing with Tone, because I want to level up the Serpent Sword. Serpent Sword you can turn into, I think it's called a Drain Seeker, if I'm not mistaken. And that weapon is very, very good. Also, that Thirst ability you see on there, everywhere kind of suggests that Thirst sucks, but it's actually quite good because it restores water when you kill an enemy, like you just seen there. And that is even if it decreases your water level faster, it still restores water when you kill an enemy, which kind of makes up for it, if I'm being frank. But anyway, that's really all there is to it. I am going to farm this for quite a while because I have to level up a weapon for Goro and also a weapon for Ruby. Also, I'm going to be getting Ungaga soon, which means I'm going to have to, you know, give him a synth-sphered weapon as well. But that's all there is to it. If you guys would like to see a written version of a walkthrough for this area right here, this floor, and the back floor, the basically leveling location, check out my website, almarsguides.com, because that has a written guide on there. But aside from that, I guess I will catch you guys around in future Dark Cloud videos. Peace.